Hello everybody! Welcome to Agashi Review, where I review movies, dramas that you don't want to waste your time watching. I'll give you a synopsis, shorts review, along with my thoughts and opinions. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe and leave a comment below. Now let's go into the review. Hello everybody, Agashi here today. So today I'm going to be doing a movie review on the movie called Sinkhole. So it came out and Agashi and I were so excited to be able to see it because, you know, we all hear Kwang Soo promoting and all these stuff like that, and Running Man making fun of him when he was still on Running Man, and obviously Chang Sung-won is on here. We call him Mawanim from Korean Odyssey, so we were very excited and we waited so long for it, and it's finally out and we were finally able to watch it. So today I'm gonna go over the cast, synopsis, and the recap of the movie, of certain things and everything, and it's, Ajushi and I would agree, it's a very wholesome, great movie. So that's what I'm gonna be reviewing with you guys today. So as for our cast, there's tons of other people, but I'm just gonna go over the main like 5 people who are stuck in the sinkhole. And we have Chang Sung-won as Chung Mang Soo, Kim Sung-kyung as Park Dong-won, and Lee Kwang Soo as Kim Sung-hyun, Kim Hae-jung as Eun-ju, and then Nam Ta-rum as Chung Sun-tae. So as for the synopsis, Sinkhole is actually what happens with a newly built building apartment which falls into a sinkhole while the residents are still trapped inside. The residents' families and emergency rescue services and everything attempts to save them. The main character, Park Dong-won, is a man who finally has a home after 11 years, and within minutes his home falls into a sinkhole, and along with him there's his co-workers, and his co-workers and other residents are stuck with him in this sinkhole, and they're trying to fight or find a way to get rescued and get out of this sinkhole, which they've fallen like almost to, like, not almost to the bottom of the earth, but like so deep down that it's like, is it possible for them to get out? So recap on the movie. The movie starts us off with Park Dong-won and his family moving into their new home, and obviously, like in the synopsis, after 11 years of hard working, he's finally able to form a new home. For Korean people, home, they live in an apartment, but it's home, you know, it's like big and everything. It's not, honestly, it's not really like here in America, but it's like, it's a home and it's big and everything like that. And then he's finally able to have room for his wife, him, and his son. And there's like, and then he ends up meeting on his first day of moving, and the movers, they couldn't move anything because Chung Mang Soo's car was blocking it. And he comes out and he, you know, they don't get along, and they're just kind of like, they start off all wrong, and Mang Soo moves his car and he doesn't apologize for being kind of like an ass the way he is. But then the next day during breakfast, the Wang's son, Soo Chang, shows his father something amazing about the house. He places a marble on the kitchen table and it rolls. And his dad's like, okay, they didn't set up the kitchen table correctly, it's tilted. And the son goes, no, it's the whole house. He puts the marble on the floor and it rolls. So now the Wang starts to freak out that the house is slightly tilted, you know? So he starts to look into it, and videos and stuff about it, the buildings and stuff like that that are like tilted and everything like that. And he calls the residents for a meeting, because in order for the city to come fix it, everybody has to kind of agree with it, the whole building, everybody that lives there, and nobody seems to care, and all the neighbors doesn't seem to be getting along at all as well. So later that night, the concrete starts to, this is like a couple nights later, and then the concrete starts to crack. It's been raining a lot, so it hasn't been doing really well for the concrete, and so the entrance door, the glass door to the entrance, is actually broken. So like, it's just a crack. The next morning, Mang Soo, he comes, and before he even touches, the glass door breaks. And the other neighbors comes and see and thinks he did it, because he doesn't seem like a nice person and he doesn't seem to get along with everybody else. And the next couple of days, Dong-won, he has a housewarming party where his co-workers, they all arrive at his house. They get drunk, and Sung Hyun and Eunjung ends up sleeping overnight. And the next morning, Soo Chang and his mom went to the grocery store because the water faucet doesn't work at home anymore. And Mang Soo is going around asking everybody because apparently it's like the whole building that it's not working, you know. And the mom is kind of like struggling to carry everything on her own. And Soo Chang couldn't call his dad because he's still hungover, still drunk, not awake. And he said he'll go back home, bring the trolley back to his mom, and put all those groceries in there, and then they can go home. And so he leaves, and on his way back to meet his mom with the trolley, he runs into Mang Soo, who, you know, is doing his rounds and everything like that. And then he greets the little boy, and the boy greets him, and the boy leaves. As Soo Chang is outside, he drops his marble and he tries to pick it up under the car. So that's his situation. His dad is still drunk at home. Eunjung is asleep in one of the rooms. Sung Hyun leaves for a wedding. He wakes up, he snaps out, he leaves for a wedding, but he forgets his bag. He comes back and get it. He gets back into the taxi and he is stuck because he's still waiting on the taxi driver. The taxi driver stepped out to talk on the phone while he went to get the bag, so he's waiting. And the building starts to crack and it falls down and it creates a sinkhole. The whole building apartment is collapsing. Mang Soo is on the rooftop when it collapses. His son Sung Tae, who was secretly smoking up there, he went hiding into one of the doors over there on the rooftop, and the building, everything collapsed while all this is happening. Dong Wang is in the living room when all this is happening. Sung Hyun, who is sitting in the taxi, happens and he sinks into it as well. So he falls in while he's on the taxi. And like Sung Hyun falls right into Dong Wang because there's like five floors, so he's like on the top floor, and they struggle to get him out of the door and everything, trying to open it, and he's there like, Mr. Kim, you're a murderer, because he couldn't open the door and he broke the door handle. And then when Sung Hyun accidentally pushed on the window button, it opens the window, and then Dong Wang is just like, you could have just opened the window in the first place, you know. And they end up finding Eunjung crushed by some shelves in the bedroom, and they end up meeting Mang Soo, learning that Sung Tae is also there too. So all the five of them, they gather together to find food and everything they can to stay alive helping until rescue comes and get them. So since none of their phone has signals, they're unable to make calls, they're unable to do anything. Dong Wang is starting to worry about his wife and son. Mang Soo assures him that he saw Soo Chang leave the building before it collapsed. But the mom is outside when all this disaster happened, and Soo Chang is actually not with her. So we're like, oh no, what happened to him? So rescue team, services, firemen, they're all out there at the top trying to get down to go help. But as they try to go down the sinkhole, more collapse, and the building next to it starts to tilt, that eventually it's going to fall. And if it falls, it's going to crush the people down there, create more sinkhole, and also like going deeper, killing more people. And the residents there refuse to listen to the engineers to try to stabilize the building. So eventually that building does fall, fall on top of everything too. So, and then we also learned that there's actually a mom who lives in one of the unit, and she's always working, so her son is always home alone. And when all this happened, the boy was actually home, but he's nowhere to be found in the sinkhole with the rest of the 5 members that are stuck down there. So as they waited, rescue sends the drone down there, loses signal, falls onto the rooftop where Sung Tae is at, and they're like, oh yes, we have hope that rescue will come. And during this time of waiting, the 5 of them, they experience like life and death like situations, saving each other, trying to survive until rescue comes. Eventually the drone starts to work, get connection, and goes back up, leading to the rescue team that people are alive. And seeing everybody down there, they send food and rescue equipment to keep them down there for a while until they actually get help and figure out something to come. And Dong Man learns that Soo Chang never made it out, and there are others in the building. So coming up with a plan to go down to the other next floors, and so Dong Man goes, and it starts to rain. It's been raining really bad lately, and it starts to flood up everything, and his rope breaks in the process of it. So it's like, so they can pull him back. He ends up injuring himself, and he's out there trying to find his son and the others. Soo Chang is actually in one of the cars in there, and he's crying. And the little boy who was home alone, all alone, comes and comes out with the candle, and Soo Chang sees him. Soo Chang follows him. He ends up meeting his father, and they meet the other survivor, or more soldiers, the Halmoni who survived. This Halmoni lives with her son, and now her son is dead. And this Dongwon sees that the little boy who was always home alone, he's actually dead. So the little boy's spirit came and guided Soo Chang out. Basically, that's what it was. So Dongwon is prepared to take the little boy's body with him, carry Soo Chang, and take the grandma with him. But the grandma's like, I'm not going, you know. My son's here, I'm not gonna go, and it's flooding already, go, you know. So as Dongwon is trying to leave, he struggles to try to carry 2 bodies with him. And the Halmoni grabs a piece of the little boy's hair and gives it to Dongwon, and it's like, make sure he brings it back to his mom. She hugs the little boy, and they stay behind. So basically, she didn't make it too, so she chose to stay behind. Dongwon and Soo Chang makes it to the 5th floor, and they're safe. But the rain starts to flood everything, and they can't stay there any longer. Like, it starts to flood, like floating, getting to them and everything. So they need to look for stuff to float on, so the rain fills it up, they can actually float to the top. And they actually find this big, like, plastic water tank that's so big, and Mangsu puts all of them in there, and he closes the lid outside so no water can get in there. So he chooses to stay behind and sacrifice himself. So as the water starts to fill up, all of them inside the tank starts to rise up, and they slowly start to flow up, and they encounter obstacles on their way of rising up, you know, and they get stuck by some rope. They jump, move the tank, and it was actually able to get them to go. They hit a metal pole, and we learn that Mangsu is alive, you know, and he's out there trying to push the tank out, because he uses one of the oxygen tank that rescue sent them, and so he used it, and he was able to swim after them. And so when he was able to help push their plastic tank out, the waters are leaking inside, so he uses his hand, he punches through the hole to block the water, and Mangsu is trying to grab onto the hand so that he can float with them, because he's running out of oxygen. Well, he doesn't make it, and they continue to float, and as they continue, the water, their tubes start to float up. They got stuck by some rope. It latches onto Mangsu's leg and drags him up. So the tank floats all the way to the top, and all of them makes it alive, even Mangsu. Mangsu opens it up for them, yells for rescue, and they're all safe. So they all made it, they're all safe, all like 5, 6 of them. And the one brings the hair to the mother to inform her that her son is dead. He's sorry he couldn't save her. Soo Chang runs to his mom, and they're all happy and everything like that. Time passes by, and Eunjung and Sung-hyun, they have a little spark when they were experiencing life and death down there. They actually are now married, living in a trailer, so they can travel anywhere they want to travel. Mong-sung, Dong-wang, and his wife, they come and visit, and they're also traumatized by what happened during the sinkhole for them. That like fireworks went off and they freaked out, whatever. But you know, it's like they're happy. They continue to live on with their life. So that's the recap of this movie and Sinkhole, and Ajushi and I, we really enjoyed it. It was so well done, the CG and everything like that, the story and giving details, and all the characters, they have a little each part of it and everything, and it was really good. And it was just so heartbreaking when, you know, the little boy came and guided Soo Chang out, and he was dead, and the Halmoni, you know, she's like, it's okay, you know, I'm gonna stay behind, and like she brushes his head and hugs him, and her son is dead right there too, and she's there, you know, and all these things like that. And so it's just like, it's just really heartbreaking on that part, and a lot of other things, but you know, and it's just freaks you out. And Ajushi is like, so we live in an apartment, does that freak you out? And I'm like, nah. I'm like, nah, we're okay, we're just on the 2nd floor, we're okay, you know, we should be okay. So but yeah, I mean, it's a really good movie. If you guys have not seen it, do check it out. It's great. It's like a lot of wholesome. It's done really well done, and it's from ending to middle to end, to beginning, middle to ending. It's a really great movie, and it was worth the wait to finally wait and to be able to watch it. So if you guys have not seen, check it out. Do go check out Sinkhole. It's really, really good. We've seen all their interviews and everything, and it's just so hilarious, and we're just dying to watch it, and to be able to watch it, we're so excited. We were so happy for it. But that's it for today's review, and I will see you guys next time.